Good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for joining us for this edition of Channel 1 Lunchtime News. My name is Edward Kabasa. Our sign language interpreter is Byron Abuli. You can follow this live broadcast on Facebook and on YouTube. Good afternoon. The Council of Governors is at the moment issuing an update on the preparedness of counties in dealing with the spread of the coronavirus. A number of issues have been raised in that particular press conference. Let us now listen in.
Money. I'm forced to support because we need chlorine, we need clean water, especially at this time. We are forced to support the water companies. In my own county, I need to raise 20 million every month to make sure that the water company are moving and people are able to get clean water. So our argument was that while the national government has a drop, also the same effect is at the county level. So if we reduce county governments, then they will have more problems than the national government. Furthermore, national government can borrow. They are able to borrow. They are able to get support from all over the world, while counties are limited. We cannot borrow, them they can borrow. So on that argument, and also, it needed some technicalities, changing the DORA, then changing the CARA. That would have taken quite a bit of time. And the fact that we have only 2 months to end of the financial year, then it was not really necessary. And I can tell you counties will have collapsed because for my case, when I looked at the reduction, it was going to be a full month.
We do apologize for the technical difficulties, but speaking there was the Council of Governors chairperson, who is also the Kakamega County Governor Wycliffe Oparanya, giving the state update on the preparedness of counties in dealing with the spread of the coronavirus. Let us take a look at other matters. More than 600 youth in Mandera County are set to benefit from an economic empowerment initiative dubbed Kazi Mtaani. Mandera County Commissioner Onesmus Kiatha says the program, which was initiated by President Uhuru Kenyatta, will assist youth who have been heavily affected by the job cuts following the outbreak of the coronavirus in the county.
The Job Creation Initiative in Mandera County will see youth from COVID-19 affected areas in the region prioritized for the opportunities mainly in the informal sector. According to Mandera County Commissioner Onesmus Kiatha, Jamuria and Shafshei locations are the most hit by the negative effects of COVID-19.
Katika kaunti yetu ya Mandera tulibahatika tukapewa nafasi 648 na ndio hao vijana mnaona hapa, na walikuwa wanachaguliwa na nyumba 10 wale vijana ambao hawana uwezo na hawajiwezi. Tunatarajia wafanya kazi kwa siku 20 zijazo.
Last Sunday, President Uhuru Kenyatta announced the rollout of the first phase of the National Hygiene Program that will employ 26,148 workers. The new jobs will cushion the youth and the vulnerable.
Vijana watakuwa kwa vikundi ya watu 15 wakiwa na kiongozi yao. Alafu watakuwa wanafanya kazi ile watakuwa wamepimiwa kwa siku.
According to Kiatha, the Kazi Mtaani initiative in Mandera also aims at promoting environmental conservation.
Kusafisha, kuhakikisha kwamba kama kuna drainage zimekuwa blocked, zimeondolewa hiyo uchafu, wataokota takataka, watatengeneza mabarabara kuhakikisha kwamba bush clearing, kukata yale magugu ambayo yamekaribia kwa barabara, na watafanya usafi. Na pia watafanya kazi ya kunyunyizia dawa katika ile sehemu ambazo some markets tunafikiria kwamba zinaweza kuwa na hizo virusi.
Mandera has 8 cases of coronavirus, the 4th highest in the country after Nairobi, Mombasa and Kilifi. Irene Mchuma, Odim, Channel 1.
Thank you very much, Irene Mchuma Odim, for that report. Let us now cross over to Mombasa County, where our reporter Anburu is standing by. There have been a lot of things being done to ensure that the region is free of COVID-19, of course, in the wake of rising cases in that particular area. And these measures touch on issues to do with transport. And one of those areas affected is the tuk-tuk and the boda-boda business. Anburu, what do you have for us?
We're coming live to you from Mombasa County. I am at the Makadara ground here, and it is a bit rainy in Mombasa. And right now, really want to get, I want you to get the feel of that tuk-tuks in Mombasa are the main mode of transport that is used by many people in Mombasa County. And I'm now joined by the tuk-tuk, the Post-Tuk-Tuk Operation Association, who are going to tell me exactly their pleas that they want the county government to take into account, because the directive that was given by the county government is to ensure that they only have one passenger in the tuk-tuk. But their plea is kind of different, and I would really want them to explain to us what they would want the county government to do for them, or maybe to just reduce the directive that they have. And I'm now joined by the secretary of the tuk-tuk, the Post-Tuk-Tuk Operations Welfare, who's going to just tell me exactly what it is that they want the county government to do. Karibu sana Bwana Fires.
My name is Pius Makani. I'm the Secretary General, Post-Tuk-Tuk Operators Welfare. First of all, on behalf of the tuk-tuk sector industry in Mombasa, I would like to thank His Excellency the President on the efforts that is making to ensure that this disease COVID does not spread beyond our control, and the measures that the CS for Health is taking to ensure that we are preventing the spread of this COVID-19 disease.
So exactly what do you want the county government to do for you?
Okay, we want the national government at least to reduce the directives that they gave as far as tuk-tuk transport is concerned. Usually we normally carry 3 passengers, but the directives are we have to carry 1 passenger. So that one we feel that is somehow unfair to us. Now we are praying and giving a plea to the national government that that directive to be reduced, so that we carry at least 2 passengers. That one is can make us at least get something to take home in the evening.
Labda Bwana Chairman, utakusonga karibu, utanieleza haswa, kwa sababu wakati huu wa COVID-19 mambo yamekuwa ni mengi, economic challenges that you're facing. Nyinyi kama watu wa tuk-tuk, mungependelea county government wafanyie nini haswa wakati wa hizo parking fee mnaomba iweze kurudishwa chini?
Kwa majina naitwa Ali Mohamed. Mimi ndio mwenyekiti wa chama cha Coast Tuk-Tuk Operators Welfare. Kwanza nataka nicho shukrani zangu kwa serikali kuu na serikali ya county kwa juhudi ambazo wamechukua kupigana na hili janga la corona. Lakini kulingana na hali ilivyo, maisha ya watu yamekuwa magumu, na pia tulikuwa tunaomba sisi kama stakeholders wa tuk-tuk kwamba ikiwa kampuni nyingine zimeanza kuteremshia ushuru watu, na sisi tulikuwa tunaomba county government ya Mombasa at least watu consider watuteremshie ile parking fee. Kwa mwezi tunalipa 1200, na tungeomba at least Bwana Ali Hassan Joho afikirie kuhusu hili janga na maisha yalivyokuwa magumu, kwa sababu watu wetu wameteremsha hisabu pia kwa matajiri, wanapeleka 500 shillings. So sisi tungeomba pia Bwana Ali Hassan Joho atufikirie, atupunguzie ile parking fee ya kila mwezi, at least tulipe 500 ama waive kabisa kwa muda huyu wa hili janga.
Kidogo nikurudishe nyuma, mmeongelea issue hii maneno ya kuwa mngependa mbebe watu wawili katika hiyo tuk-tuk. Labda kuna precautions zozote zile mmechukua nyinyi kama wakuu wa shirika hilo la operations za welfare?
Kulingana na hali ya uchumi na vile waziri ametoa order kwamba ni lazima sheria zifuatwe, sisi wenyewe tuliamua tukafuata sheria. Hata umeona tumekuja na hii tuk-tuk hapa, tuko na chairman wa union alikuwa tutaka aoneshe display kwamba vile tumejaribu kuchukua juhudi na sisi kufuata nidhamu ya kupigana na hili janga.
Labda Bwana Chairman, ungekuja unieleze aswa ni kama mmeweza kusensitize your tuk-tuk operators on how best to ensure that wanabeba abiria vizuri na wanaweza pia kujikinga na ugonjwa huu wa COVID-19.
Asante sana, majina yangu ni Jacob Mwendwa, Chairman wa Union Kenya Bodaboda Tuk-tuk and Taxi Workers Union Mombasa branch. Kweli ni kwamba hii janga la corona limetupeleka kweli, lakini tumefanya mikakati tukishukuru serikali ya kaunti na serikali ya kitaifa kwa ile juhudi wanaofanya kwa ajili ya kupigana na hii hali ya corona. Ukweli ni kwamba hapa Mombasa tuk-tuk ni zaidi ya 10,000 na ni kwamba safari hii tunaongea ni kwamba tuk-tuk nyingi zimewekwa kwa sababu mshahara umepungua na mapato pia yamepungua. Sasa kwa hii tuk-tuk kubeba watu watatu ndio ilikuwa kawaida, lakini sasa serikali ikasema tubebe mtu mmoja. Hivyo ndio maombi yetu kwamba tungebeba wawili ingekuwa kidogo, tunaenda na kitu kidogo nyumbani watu wetu wapate kula. Maana kunayo nafasi ambao watu wanaweza kaa wawili, ikawa at least tunaweza fanya kazi vizuri. Yeah.
Display kidogo.
That is all we have for you right now from Mombasa County. It is really raining. We'd really want to tell you more, but we will give you a full detailed story in our 7 and 9 bulletin. Back to you in studio, Kabasa.
Thank you very much, Ann Buru, for that. Let us take a look at other matters. A section of members of parliament have sought a statement on why Joel Lutomia was demoted as director of the Center for Virus Research at the Kenya Medical Research Institute, KEMRI. The lawmakers want information on whether any disciplinary procedures were instituted before Lutomia was removed from his position. Lutomia was reshuffled following an alleged delay in the release of coronavirus test results. The Health Ministry has in the meantime maintained that the reshuffle was done in the best interest of ongoing efforts to ensure efficiency at KEMRI.
Besides what has been raised, I wanted the chair to also add if KEMRI board was involved, because we know KEMRI is a corporation that is run independently, and this decision of sacking Dr. Lutomia, if the board was involved.
What was the instrument of the action to demote as of the time the minister spoke? Was it a sort of fly-by statement? Had there been any written communication as of the time that the minister spoke?
Decisions were made were in line to streamline and improve the coordination of test results being received in good time. The other issues are administrative issues within KEMRI, and I would like to leave it at that.
The national government has been challenged to support the county governments in purchasing ventilators to enhance the fight against novel coronavirus at the rural level. Baringo County Woman Representative Gladwell Tungo laments that the isolation centers in Baringo County don't have ventilators, even as the deadly virus makes its way into the counties.
Speaking while giving out hand sanitizers and water tanks to help prevent COVID-19, Baringo Woman Representative Gladwell Tungo said that there was need for county governments to ensure that isolation centers are fully equipped so that it can help in combating coronavirus.
Shida tu ambayo nimeona kubwa, na tunaomba Mungu janga hili lisitufikie sisi watu wa Baringo. Mpaka sasa hatuna ventilators. Kama isolation center ya Kaptibora kuna hata moja. Kumaanisha ikiwa shida itatokezea basi itakuwa ni vigumu, sababu ventilator hata moja hatuna.
This as Kiambu County projects a loss of over 1.8 billion shillings in revenue collection owing to the coronavirus pandemic. Kiambu Governor James Nyoro said the biggest chunk of the said revenue is collected from markets, bars and public service vehicles. Business operators in Mwingi Town, Kitui County, are lamenting over the huge losses they have been incurring due to the COVID-19 effects. The traders claim that they have run out of stock due to the travel ban in and out of major cities of Mombasa and Nairobi, where they must get their commodities.
Hata ninasunguka saa zingine inabakia, inakuwa hata kuuza tray moja ya mayai kuisha ni vingumu.
Kirinyaga County Assembly Ad Hoc Committee on COVID-19 pandemic has raised alarm over the lack of face masks and other protective gears in health facilities in the county. According to the committee, health workers have raised concerns over the lack of PEPs, saying they are being dangerously exposed to the deadly virus.
Madaktari wetu na wahusika ambayo wanahusika katika hizi department zetu za afya wana shida ya mask. Tungeomba yule waziri ambaye anahusika afanye kazi ya kuonyesha kwamba hii kazi itafanywa haraka ili tupate maski nyingi ambazo zitapewa watu wetu.
Kuna pesa ilikuwa tumetoa katika assembly yetu ya Kirinyaga za kutumiwa ndio sipigana hiyo ugonjwa wa cholera, lakini tunajaribu kuuliza wale wanahusika, wale tulipatia pesa, waje watuelezee vile wanatumia hii pesa.
Finally, residents of Isiolo Merti sub-county that borders Wajir and Marsabit counties have formed emergency response committees at division and location levels for easier surveillance, public sensitization and monitoring that government directives are adhered to in order to keep the dreaded virus at bay.
Everybody, all our departments, especially the police, they are making their best. They are patrolling the borders. And everywhere that thing is now contained.
Suleiman Yeri, Channel 1 News.
Channel 1 Lunchtime News takes a very short break, but we will be back with more. Don't go anywhere.
Next on Corner.
I told him I would try and get them more fights. We can't afford to be picky when it comes to fights.
Haukutaka akuwe boxer. Sasa hutaki pia afanye hizo carvings zake.
It had to take an accident for me to finally get it. That boxing is dangerous.
Wachana na Anjala ashughulike na hayo. Yeye si mjinga. Look Wangui. Don't take away his pride because of your issues.
On the next episode of Elena's Ghost.
So you want this, Sid? Come on, who wants this?
I would never have thought that you would betray me, Father. What I told you was a confessional secret. You had absolutely no right to talk about it whatsoever.
But what's wrong, Clara? Please, what's this? What do you mean?
I know. You want to see the woman that was threatening your daughter.
Chaparro, that is personal. I haven't spoken to anyone, or reported anyone, or opened my mouth. But I deserve this moment.
Welcome back. The coronavirus pandemic has infected more than 3.1 million people and killed at least 217,000 worldwide, according to Johns Hopkins University. Nearly 929,000 people have recovered from the virus. I'll take that again. Nearly 929,000 people have recovered, with the United States registering more than 1 million cases.
The number of people around the world confirmed to have the coronavirus has risen to more than 3 million, and at least 217,000 have died, according to data compiled by Johns Hopkins University. The U.S. has confirmed 1 million virus cases, making up almost a third of the total global tally, with more than 58,000 deaths. Pakistan registered its deadliest day from the coronavirus pandemic on Tuesday, with 26 people dying of the highly contagious COVID-19 virus, taking the country's death toll to 327 since its outbreak began in late February. Cases also rose by their highest single-day amount on Tuesday, increasing by 806 to 14,885, of which 11,113 are active cases. China's National Health Commission says the mainland had 22 new cases of coronavirus for April 28th, all but one of them in people who had returned from overseas. The total number of deaths remained unchanged at 4,633. Meanwhile, several European countries are eyeing a gradual end to their coronavirus lockdowns as infection rates slow and death rates decline. Governments from France to Spain, Greece and Russia are setting out plans to reopen schools, shops and businesses, with many looking to testing and tracing to keep control of the virus. Social distancing measures will remain in force too. In Poland, the government has announced that hotels are set to open for summer holidays traditionally held over July and August in the country. And Australia plans to expand screening for the coronavirus after securing 10 million more test kits from China. Australia, which has been one of the most successful countries in containing COVID-19, has so far carried out around 500,000 tests in a population of 25 million people. Purity Museo, Channel 1 News.
Now, the coronavirus pandemic has shifted much focus on preventive interventions, with the World Health Organization recommending hand washing, staying at home when sick and exercising social distancing. But with the majority of the world population now connected to the mobile telephone handsets, on Fact Sheet, we tell you when and how to clean your phone to keep the virus at bay.
Phone is supposed to be cleaned or decontaminated using certain types of chemicals which are recommended. The first recommended one is what we call ethanol. The second one is isopropyl alcohol. The third one is hydrogen peroxide. And the fourth one is sodium hypochlorite, which we normally use for disinfection of surfaces. And the recommended ratio of constitution of this hydrogen, of this sodium hypochlorite could be 0.05 for the surfaces, and that could apply to our phones as well. So after that, you need a piece of cloth, and the recommended one are those lens cloths that is used to clean our glasses. That would be the best for those who have them. But for those who do not have them, then it is recommended that you use a sterile piece of cloth. Like mine here is very sterile, and I'll pick it. And for now, I have what we call the alcohol-based hand rub, which is actually carrying that alcohol I talked of, the first one. So I'll put a drop, one or two, and then I need to carefully go back to the phone. And before I pick the phone, I need to check and make sure that the controls, all the openings, I do not touch with these chemicals. And the first process is to switch off the phone. So you will switch off the phone because we are dealing with electromagnetic materials. Chemicals are also reactive in nature, so that could cause other problems. So after switching it off, then you need to take your sanitizer. Of course, my alcohol is on this sanitizer, and just gently rub the surfaces properly well, taking care not to introduce the chemical into the open areas. Do it thoroughly. All the edges of the phone is supposed to be sanitized properly well, and then the back, taking care still not to introduce the alcohol hand rub into the inner side of the phone, because it can also make your phone to switch off. Once I do that, we are warning that you should not put it so much that it leaves moisture. So you just do it enough that is able to sanitize, to make sure that the virus, if it was on the phone, is dealt with appropriately. Then after that, you are free to use your phone.
And of course, you can always stay up to date with such kind of information right here on KBC Channel 1. Hundreds of flower firm and hotel workers in Naivasha have now turned to fishing at the Lake Naivasha after they were laid off in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. Dozens are now flocking the freshwater lake on a daily basis to eke a living. Concerns are, however, high over foreseeable degradation as the high numbers continue to compete for space around the water body.
Lake Naivasha is now a beehive of activity. Both the young and the old flock here on a daily basis, looking for an alternative means to eke a living. Most of them lost their jobs at the flower farms and hotels synonymous with Naivasha when the pandemic struck the country.
Hao wote unaona wengi walikuwa nafanya kazi kwa maua. Kazi ikaisha. Sasa wamekuja kuwasa kutafuta samaki hapa kidogo kidogo ndio wapate chakula ya kukula.
Sasa hivi pesa ndio hakuna. Ile utapata hapo kama ni samaki 5, hiyo ni utauza ama upate na hiyo ndio utakula.
The main activity here is fishing, one that according to Lake Naivasha Boat Owners Association chairman David Kilo may not be sustainable.
Tunaweza enda tukakosa samaki miezi ambazo zinakuja kwa sababu kila mtu anavua. Ndege anavua, binadamu anavua, uwe na leseni au na leseni unavua.
The group resorting to using undersized nets and hooks, which is a blow to marine growth.
It's a challenge because you cannot stop them from fishing. It's the only alternative that most of them are making a living out of.
Sisi wananchi tunaumia sana hapa nje. Usipoingia hapa hakuna kitu utatoka naye. Na kuna watoto ni kuassault tu.
But even as many depend on it as the only source of income, challenges abound. Sales are low due to the dusk to dawn curfew.
Samaki sasa nikipata kuna 10 na 20, lakini ile kidogo kabisa tunarudisha kwa maji sababu huwezi kulika iko nje. Sasa hata hiyo samaki pia kupata ni ngumu. Ni kuwaswa tu ingia vile unaniona niko hivi. Ndio unapata.
Attacks from hippos have also been rampant lately, which the lake managers attributed to high number of the illegal fishermen, terming the crisis as worrying.
Hivyo kwamba serikali inafaa kuja na utaratibu fulani wa kulisha jamii ambayo imeathiriwa mno.
Kamchemenza for Channel 1 News.
Fears of possible spread of the coronavirus are rife in Kitengela after it emerged that milk hawkers from rural parts of Kajiado access the town via alternative pathways. The milk hawkers, who are said to be conducting their business in total disregard of the government guidelines meant to contain the spread of COVID-19, allegedly crossed into the Nairobi metropolitan region in the early morning hours, evading police roadblocks to hawk their milk delivered by border riders who are said to be working in cohorts with them.
With Kitengela town serving as one of the biggest trading centers for Kajiado rural business people, government's directive on cessation of movement, marking Kitengela as Nairobi's metropolitan region in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic, seems to have taken a toll on rural dwellers who eked a living from Kitengela town. It now emerges that milk hawkers from Kajiado rural parts try by all means to continue hawking their milk in Kitengela town. They're alleged to work in cahoots with border riders to sneak raw milk in jerrycans into the town and hawk to unsuspecting buyers. In the midst of all that, the milk hawkers are spotted flouting government-stipulated preventive measures in the fight against the spread of coronavirus. They're said to access the town early in the morning using alternative unmanned routes to evade police roadblocks meant to control human movement to metropolitan region. Acknowledging the risky business, Kitengela MCA Paul Matuya cautioned the women milk hawkers against flouting the set guidelines.
Nafikiri kwa sasa afya yako ni muhimu kuliko biashara. Na mimi nataka kuhimiza wale watu ambao wanatumia panya routes kupita njia ya mkato ili waweze kufika katika town, waweze kufanya biashara, waweze kufuata maagizo ya serikali. Na tunaomba wananchi wale ambao wanajua hizo shortcuts waweze kufika katika ofisi zetu na maofisi za polisi, waweze kupiga hiyo ripoti ili tuweze kutafuta njia ya kuchukua hatua.
Kamchemenza for Channel 1 News.
And away from the coronavirus, police last night gunned down one suspected criminal in Kayole area of Nairobi and recovered a revolver pistol, 1 round of ammunition and 1 homemade pistol. The police are still pursuing 3 other suspects who escaped towards the Ngong River.
According to the police, they had received reports of a gang of 4 that was taking advantage of the dusk to dawn curfew to unleash terror on residents of Kayole in Nairobi. The dreaded gang are said to impersonate police officers when committing crimes. One of the victims reported a robbery incident and police immediately launched a manhunt for the criminals. One of the 4 suspects was gunned down on Wednesday night, while 3 are at large. Authorities are urging residents to be vigilant, especially during the curfew hours. Suleiman Yeri, Channel 1 News.
Police in Mbeere South, Sub-County, Embu County have arrested 2 middle-aged men with 2 elephant tusks valued at 1 million shillings. The 2 were arrested as they tried to transport the tusks out of the county. Police believe that the ivory was from an elephant that was killed 2 years ago at the Mwea National Reserve in Embu County.
It was end of the road for these 2 young men, as police accosted them literally on the act with 2 elephant tusks. The 2 middle-aged men were arrested ferrying the elephant tusk from Mutuobare to a known destination. According to Mbeere South OCPD Ahmed Mohammed, police officers together with the Kenya Wildlife Service Rangers had been looking for the tusk for 2 years since the jumbo was killed at the Mwea National Reserve.
Tulikuwa ile hali yetu ya kikazi, tukawa tumepata habari ya kwamba kuna vijana ambaye wako na pembe ya ndovu ambaye walikuwa wanataka kuuza upande ya Mtwavale. Tukafanya uchunguzi wetu tukiwa pamoja na hao maofisa kutoka Wildlife Services, ndipo tukawatuma kule area Mtwavale. Ile hali ya uchunguzi tukapata vijana hawa 2 ambaye walikuwa na pembe ya ndovu 2 na walikuwa nataka kuiuza.
The 2 will be arraigned at the Siakago Law Courts to answer to charges of poaching. For Channel 1 News, I'm Bentro Enjoy.
Over 5,000 families in Nakuru County have been displaced by the ongoing rains that have continued to wreak havoc across the country. The most affected are those living near Lake Naivasha and Nakuru, which have recorded a sharp rise in water levels in the last 1 month. Meanwhile, in Garissa, over 1,500 families have been displaced after Tana River burst its banks.
Over 5,000 families have been displaced by floods in Nakuru County. Speaking after donating foodstuff and personal effects to affected families, Chief Officer in charge of disaster management in the county, Anjenga, says the most affected areas is Kihoto Estate, Naivasha, Baruku Ward in Gilgil, Ndabibi and Kiptagich in Kuresoi. She called on the families living near the 2 water bodies to relocate to higher grounds.
What we have, the governor is bent to do is to help them with the humanitarian assistance, and that is what we have brought here. We are helping them with food. The ones who are displaced, they are living.
In Baringo South, hundreds of locals in Loboi in the shores of Lake Bogoria will be forced to look for treatment many kilometers away after Loboi dispensary was submerged by floods following heavy rains. Eunice Jepke, a resident, said the dispensary was their only treatment center, and now they have no choice but to look for treatment in Marigat, which is over 10 kilometers away. Baringo Women Representative Gladwell Tungo says 3 sub-counties have been affected by the floods and appealed to locals to move to higher, safer areas.
Watu wataribu kutafuta sehemu za juu za sehemu zao ambazo wanaishi ili waepukane na janga la kufunikwa na maji ama kubebwa kwa mifugo yao na hata wao wenyewe.
Meanwhile, 1,500 families have been displaced in 3 sub-counties of Garissa, Mbalambala and Fafi by raging floods after River Tana burst its banks 4 days ago following heavy rains upstream. Garissa members of county assemblies have raised concern over spillage of the Kenya Power Masinga dams that are causing heavy flooding downstream.
Tunaomba katika serikali wasaidie wakazi ambao wanakaa karibu na Tana River. Sisi ni kila wakati hii kitu inarudianga tunaleta complaint, tumejaribu kufuatilia, sijui ni kwa nini tunafanywa kila wakati inakuwa hivyo.
Elsewhere, Narok Governor Samuel Ole Tunai has warned families living along major rivers in Nakuru County to exercise caution and move to higher grounds. Tunai was at Oromoshi Primary School, said rivers like the Mara have already broken banks.
Watu wanaishi karibu na milima. Kuna watu wengi wanaishi upande ile na Kojonga na milima zingine nyingi. Kwamba kwa sasa afadhali watu waweze kuhama.
And flood victims in Teso South Busia County have been urged to relocate to their safety. Teso South Sub-County Commissioner Willie Cheboy says the Sub-County Committee is working on the modalities on how to distribute food to the victims, given that COVID-19 regulation should be observed.
How will social distancing be done? Where will the holding ground be? So we'll give them 1 day. But hopefully that food by Friday should reach.
Reporting for Channel 1 News, I'm Timothy Kipnusu.
And in other matters, a quarry located at the intersection of Kisii Central, Nyamache and Kisii South sub-counties at Nyamonema has been a source of friction between the owners and the local community. Blasts from the quarry are allegedly affecting area residents, forcing them to temporarily flee their houses when they are supposed to be indoors observing coronavirus measures. Residents interviewed claimed the explosives were taking a toll on their houses, which have now developed cracks or are damaged. They further claimed that compensation from the owners of the quarry used for construction materials was wanting. The residents had complained before, prompting the Ministry of Mining to visit the area and promise to regulate the quarry activities.
Wanaanza hiyo kazi yao sasa ya kutoa mawe. Ilikuwa siku ya kwanza. Walifurahi siku masaa ilikuwa ya saa 1 jioni. Kapiga sirimbi tukatoroka, vile tulitoroka tukaenda. Hatukuwa tunajua ina affect namna gani. Kukimbia penye tulikimbia. Tukasikia po. Hiyo po tukaanguka chini, vile tulianguka mtoto yangu alitoka penye alikuwa akatoka nje. Sasa masiku ikafika nikaenda hospitali kufanyiwa operation. Mtoto yangu akiwa amekufa.
Sasa ninakuja kwangu hapa. Naumia hapa na nyasea na mafua. Tena kuama tunahama kila wakati. Nyumba inapigwa hata mara nyingine mjaribu kuangalia iko ngine hapa chini. Kubwa sana. Singine nalima chini. Kwa hivyo wenzangu niko na sita sana. Kama wakipenda watu wahamize kutoka hapa, watajaribu kutafuta mahali nyingine watu weke huko. Alafu baada ya kumaliza ndio turudi hapa kwa sababu tunaona sita sana.
And to Migori County now, where Governor Okoth Obado has put on notice perpetrators of gender-based violence in the region, saying they will be dealt with by the law. Obado issued the warning amid concerns over increasing cases of teenage pregnancies in the Kuria community during this stay-at-home period. Several young girls are also reported to have either been married off or given out as laborers in the neighboring communities.
Migori Governor Okoth Obado, in a strong statement to the Kuria community, has said perpetrators of gender-based violence during such hard times will be dealt with by the law. The county boss says that marrying off young girls is a genesis of gender disparity in learning institutions.
I strongly condemn it. I want to appeal to our brothers and sisters from the Kuria community to be extra vigilant and ensure that their daughters are safe at home. Kindly, don't allow your daughter to go for early marriages.
Obado stressed on the need to protect the rights of children when they are out of school.
Make us have a greater county, a county that will be full of professionals, a county that will be full of able women leaders. So that is my appeal to the people of Kuria.
A case in point in Kuria Eastward, where 4 young girls were married off in the past 3 weeks and others impregnated.
Right in my own location, my own village, I have about 6 girls who have been married. Between the time that the school went for holiday and now. That is simply abuse.
The malpractices are said to be attributed to retrogressive cultural practices and domestic violence during the stay-home period as the country fights the scourge of coronavirus. According to the locals, getting the offenders arrested has been an uphill task since the institutions of justice suspended their operations since the government urged people to work from home to tame the spread of coronavirus in the country.
I'm so much concerned simply because people have not taken it up to themselves to ensure that the well-being of the children is protected and provided for or cared for. If you try to prosecute that, and considering the current situation that we are in now, where do you arrest these people and take them?
Ben Chumba reporting for Channel 1 News.
Residents of Kirisia Forest in Samburu County have staged a peaceful demonstration to protest their eviction. These quarters allege that they were not given any notice and that they have lost all their belongings, and they are now calling on the government to intervene and reconsider the decision.
Amid fears of coronavirus infection, the social distancing directive by the Ministry of Health did not stop these families from Kirisia Forest in Samburu County from protesting against the decision to evict them.
Watoto wanalia, hatujui mahali ya kuenda. Na nyinyi ndo tunategemea. Nyinyi ndo mtegemezi yetu. Sasa mtatupugusa mwetu. Sisi tunaenda wapi?
Nimezaliwa hapa na bado tunaishi. Lakini ingepea notice. Kwa nini wanakuja kunichomea nyumba na hajanipea notice? Na sijui mahali pengine. Serikali yetu ya kuu utaniweka wapi? Na sina mahali pengine. Singenipangia. Na sina mahali pengine popote najua babangu ameaga hapa, mamangu ameaga hapa. Unaenda wapi?
The affected families claim they have been chased away from their homes and their houses burnt, a situation that has left them without food.
Tuko na shida mingi sana hapa. Hata leo hatujui mahali tutalala na hiyo watoto. Tunahangaika, hiyo makaratasi yetu wametupasulia tena wakachoma. Na unaona vile tunahangaika na tuko na watoto wadogo.
Sasa tunakaa kama watumwa. Sisi sio watu wa Kenya. Hakuna ile mtu alikuwa anaongoza sisi. Kutoka sijui tunalilia tu rais.
The irate residents, while accusing security officers of mistreating them, say they were never served with an eviction notice. With nowhere to call home, they now want the government to intervene and allow them return to their homes.
Naomba serikali yetu mchukue hatua, mtafutie mahali ya kuishi. Sasa hizi tunateseka sana, tunalia kwa sababu ya hii tunapuguswa mahali tunaishi. Haki yetu, wazee wameseka.
Ben Chumba reporting for Channel 1 News.
Watching Channel 1 Lunchtime News. We are taking a short break. When we come back, business news.
Kathy, does she ever talk to you?
Kwa nini?
Kuuliza tu.
Do we need to talk about her every time we are together?
I'm sorry, but I really need to see my dad.
You will, I promise.
And why doesn't he want to meet me?
What makes you think he doesn't want to meet you? Have you met him before?
Nancy said...
Aha, Nancy.
Mko sawa? Tuko sawa, bro.
Hatuko sawa.
Ni nini mbaya?
Ni huyu kijana.
Coronavirus COVID-19 is a respiratory virus spreading across the world. The infection is spread from droplets of coughing and sneezing of an infected person, touching or shaking hands, or being in contact with contaminated surfaces or objects with the virus. The signs and symptoms are fever, coughing, headache, body ache, difficulty in breathing. The disease can be prevented by regularly washing hands with soap and running water. Avoid close contact with people who have flu-like symptoms. Avoid handshake, hugs, and kissing. Also, protect yourself by covering your mouth or nose using a disposable tissue while coughing or sneezing. If you experience these symptoms and you had traveled or been in contact with a person from a country reporting COVID-19, you should isolate yourself for 14 days. dial star 719 hash or call 719. This message has been brought to you by the Government of Kenya and its partners.
Thank you very much for keeping us company. Let us take a look at some business news now. Safaricom made 70.3 billion shillings in full year net profit, representing an 11.4% increase on the 63.1 billion shillings that the telco made the previous year. The profit was driven by M-Pesa mobile data and fixed service revenue. Revenue from voice calls dipped 1.4%, while social media platforms ate into Safaricom's messaging revenue that declined by 12.3%. Safaricom has proposed a dividend payout of 1 shilling and 40 cents per share.
Safaricom's profits had traditionally been dominated by revenue from voice calls and text messages. This has, however, been changing in recent years as subscribers embrace new ways such as over-the-top mediums such as social media platforms like WhatsApp, Telegram and Instagram to communicate. This has seen revenue from voice calls and text decline in recent years. Even though voice calls remain the highest earner for Safaricom at 94.45 billion shillings, it dipped 1.4% compared to the previous years. In addition, revenue from text messages also dipped by 12.3% to 17.19 billion shillings. New revenue streams consisting M-Pesa, data and fixed service posted double-digit growth, powering the telecom's full-year profit to 70.3 billion shillings. Revenue from M-Pesa grew by 12.6% to 84.44 billion shillings, while that of mobile data increased by 12.1% to 40.67 billion shillings. Fixed service revenue increased by 10.7% to 8.97 billion shillings. The telco made 10.48 billion shillings from selling mobile phones, which pushed the total revenue by the telco to 262.56 billion shillings. The stringent rules imposed last year on betting activities hurt Safaricom's revenue, with the telco booking a loss of 1.9 billion shillings on M-Pesa betting, representing negative 32.8% change when compared to the previous year. The telco says it plans to spend 56.09 billion shillings of the 70.3 billion shillings profit it made on dividends, with shareholders pocketing 1 shillings and 40 cents per share.
The Kenya Pipeline Company has made over 800,000 litres of hand sanitizers, 310,000 litres of which have been distributed to the needy across the country. Kenya Pipeline Company Managing Director Mashari Rungu says the parastatal is seeking partnerships with oil companies to increase production of sanitizers to 2 million litres.
JOK has provided alcohol to KPC. KPC work is to coordinate the blending and buying things like gasoline and peroxide, and giving Kenocobil, who have the ability to blend this. We are still collecting alcohol from different parts. We have alcohol in Hispania, which was being sneaked in. We have alcohol in Amanga. We have alcohol in Naivasha. So at the end of it, we are looking at manufacturing over 2.5 million litres.
The Algerian government has started to reopen more businesses such as clothing and jewelry stores in a move to ease the negative impact of the nationwide lockdown imposed to stem the spread of COVID-19. In the capital city of Algiers, a lot of shopkeepers said that their stress levels have increased sharply because of the epidemic outbreak, and expressed the hope that their businesses will recover as soon as possible to make up for the losses resulting from the lockdown. Here are details of this and other stories from across the globe.
While considering that the epidemic is still not over, the Algerian government has imposed restrictions on opening hours. Traders say they allow up to 3 people into stores to prevent coronavirus infection. Algeria announced the first corona case of 25th of February. Shortly afterwards, the Algerian government adopted strict prevention and control measures in time to prevent further spread of the epidemic. There are around 100 newly confirmed cases per day in Algeria, indicating that the epidemic has entered a stable period, which is one reason why the Algerian government has allowed the reopening of some businesses. Meanwhile, the United Arab Emirates economic pillars of tourism and transportation industries have been hit hard by the coronavirus pandemic, prompting the UAE government to launch a series of supportive policies. Sagut, a waiter, works at a famous hotel in Dubai, says most rooms are empty with only a small number of long-term guests still staying. Although he is still working at his position, 2/3 of his colleagues are on unpaid leave. Those who are still on duty, like Sagut, are earning much less than they used to. Luckily, the hotel provides free food and lounge for them to stay. The UAE hopes to reopen tourism and transportation industries in July. Emirates Airlines says there are over 500,000 flight ticket refund transactions yet to be processed. Finally, a traditional market in Seoul, South Korea, where small stalls depend on foot traffic, has adopted online business in coronavirus pandemic. Suyu Traditional Market avoided coronavirus lockdowns and most businesses remained open. But that has not stopped the pandemic from extracting a heavy economic toll on traders dependent on face-to-face sales because of customers staying at home. Business is speaking up, at least for stall holders who have signed up to an online delivery system developed to help traders who normally work offline. Goods are now picked up from stalls and dropped at people's doors. Since the start of the pandemic, there has been a boom in shopping online in South Korea, which was already very popular.